My daughter tried to kill me. And she thought I'd die quietly. She was wrong. The bottle arrived on my birthday. After 3 years of silence. No calls. No messages. No apologies. Just a gift. But before I continue, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from today. Your support really helps this channel grow. Because that bottle wasn't meant to celebrate anything. My name is Daniel Carter. I'm 61 years old. I used to be a detective. You don't spend 25 years reading people, and suddenly stop. My daughter knew about my heart condition. She knew I couldn't refuse a gesture like that. That's what made it perfect. Too perfect. The packaging was clean. No return address. Expensive label. Sealed cap. Everything looked right. That's what bothered me. Because real gifts are messy. This one wasn't. I didn't drink it. Instead, I took it with me that afternoon. My lawyer had been asking me to come in. Said it was time to review my will. I figured I'd bring him something nice. He laughed when he saw the bottle. Said I was finally learning how to show appreciation. He opened it immediately. Poured a glass. Took a sip. Then another. I didn't touch mine. I just watched him. Because I wasn't wondering if it was good. I was waiting to see what it would do. He didn't notice it at first. Most people don't. The first signs are small. Easy to ignore. A pause between sentences. A slight shift in breathing. A hand that lingers too long on the glass. I've seen it before. Not in offices like this. But in interrogation rooms. And once, in a case that ended with a body on the floor. He smiled again. Told me it was smooth. Too smooth. Then he cleared his throat. Subtle. If you didn't know what to look for, you'd miss it. I didn't. He reached for the bottle again. Poured himself a second glass. That's when I leaned back. Slow. Calm. Watching. Because something inside me had already made the decision. I was right. Good choice, he said, raising the glass slightly. I nodded. Didn't answer. Didn't touch mine. He took another sip. This time, longer. Then he stopped mid-sentence. Just stopped. His eyes blinked once. Twice. Confusion. Not pain yet. That comes later. What? He muttered. His hand moved to his chest. There it was. The moment. He shifted in his chair. Uncomfortable now. Breathing changing. Faster. Shallower. I don't feel, he started. Didn't finish. The glass slipped slightly in his hand. I stood up. Not rushed. Not panicked. Just, on time. Sit still, I told him. He looked at me like he was trying to understand something. Like the room had changed shape. His skin was losing color. His pulse, visible in his neck, was climbing too fast. Arrhythmia. I'd seen it before. I stepped around the desk. Took the bottle. Closed it. Carefully. Then moved it out of reach. Call an ambulance, I said. His secretary froze in the doorway. She had heard the glass fall. The change in his voice. Now she saw his face. That was enough. She ran. Good. He leaned forward. Both hands on the desk now. Trying to hold himself steady. You, he whispered. He didn't finish that either. Didn't need to. I met his eyes. Calm. Controlled. I didn't drink it, I said. That's when fear replaced confusion. Not in his body. In his eyes. Because now, he understood. He wasn't the target. He was the mistake. Sirens came faster than I expected. 7 minutes. I counted. They took him out on a stretcher. Still conscious. Barely. One of the paramedics asked me what happened. I gave them the truth. Possible poisoning, I said. No hesitation. No doubt. They looked at the bottle. Bagged it. Good. Chain of evidence. Always matters. When the doors closed behind them, the office went quiet. Too quiet. I stood there alone. Looking at the empty glass. The half-open bottle. The chair still slightly turned. Everything frozen in the moment it changed. I didn't touch anything else. Didn't sit down. Didn't call anyone. Because this wasn't over. Not even close. If I was right. And I was. Then this wasn't about the bottle. The bottle was just one move. A clean one. Simple. Hard to trace. But too clean. Which meant. There had to be more. I walked to the window. Looked out at the street. People moving like nothing had happened. Cars passing. Normal life. It always looks normal. Right before you see the pattern. I took out my phone. Scrolled through my contacts. Stopped at one name. Frank Miller. Retired. Used to be my partner. One of the few people who still knew how I think. I didn't call him. Not yet. Not until I had something real. Because right now. All I had was a feeling. And one very simple question. Why now? 3 years of silence. No contact. No explanation. And suddenly. A perfect gift. No. Not perfect. Calculated. I looked back at the desk. At the space where the bottle had been. And for the first time. I stopped thinking like a father. And started thinking like what I used to be. Because if my daughter planned this. Then she didn't just want me gone. She needed me gone. And people only need that. When something bigger is already in motion. I didn't go home. Not yet. Home is where people expect you to feel safe. And right now. I wasn't interested in feeling safe. I drove to the hospital instead. Not to check on my lawyer. To watch. Hospitals tell you things if you pay attention. Who shows up? Who doesn't? Who asks questions they shouldn't be asking? I stayed in the parking lot for 10 minutes. Engine off. Lights out. Thinking. Replaying everything. The bottle. The timing. The silence before it. 3 years. Then this. No call. No explanation. Just a move. I stepped out and went inside. Bright lights. Clean floors. Too clean. I asked at the desk. Gave his name. The nurse looked at the screen. He's in ICU, she said. Stable, but critical. Critical. That was expected. What caused it? I asked. She hesitated. Possible toxin, she said quietly. Good. Not missed. Not ignored. I nodded. Didn't ask anything else. Too many questions make you visible. I moved to the waiting area. Sat down. And waited. 15 minutes later. I saw him. Not my lawyer. Him. Officer Patel. Young. Sharp. Observant. The kind who doesn't guess. The kind who builds. He scanned the room once. Then his eyes stopped on me. Of course they did. He walked over. "Mr. Carter," he said. "Not a question. You were with him earlier today." "Yes." "What happened?" "Simple. Direct." I liked that. "I gave him a bottle," I said. "He drank from it." Patel nodded slowly. "You didn't?" "No." "Why?" There it was. The first real question. I held his gaze. Because something felt wrong. He watched me for a second longer than necessary. Measuring. Then he wrote something down. "We'll need to take a statement," he said. "I'll be available." He nodded. But he didn't leave. "Where did the bottle come from?" "My daughter." That changed something. Not on his face. In his posture. Slight shift. Interest. "Name?" he asked. I gave it. He wrote it down. Closed the notebook. "You understand how this looks," he said. "Yes. Man gives poison bottle. Man doesn't drink. Another man ends up in ICU. I've seen worse cases built on less." "I'm not going anywhere," I said. He studied me. Then nodded once. "Stay reachable." Then he left. Good. That bought me time. I leaned back in the chair. Closed my eyes for a second. And started connecting pieces. Because now it wasn't just a suspicion. Now it was a structure. The bottle was step one. Clean. Quiet. Effective. But if that failed, there had to be step two. There's always a second move. I opened my eyes. Reached into my pocket. Pulled out my phone. Scrolled. Stopped. My doctor. Dr. Brennan. I called. He picked up on the third ring. "Daniel? I need you to check something," I said. "What is it?" "My medication." A pause. "What about it?" "I want you to confirm it's what it's supposed to be." Silence. Short. Heavy. "Why?" he asked. "Because I don't think today was the only attempt." That changed his tone. "Bring it in," he said. "Now." I stood up immediately. Didn't wait. Didn't sit. Because now the pattern was clearer. Too clear. The bottle wasn't just a test. It was a backup. Or maybe the other way around. I walked out of the hospital. Cold air hit my face. Sharp. Real. I got into my truck. Started the engine. And for the first time, I felt it. Not fear. Something colder. Certainty. Because if I was right, then this wasn't just about money. Or anger. Or distance. This was planned. Layered. Careful. And personal. I pulled into traffic. Hands steady on the wheel. Eyes forward. Because somewhere in this city, my daughter wasn't waiting for an answer. She was waiting for confirmation. That I was already gone. And she had no idea. I was just getting started. Dr. Brennan didn't greet me. He just took the bottle from my hand. No questions. No small talk. That told me enough. He knew this wasn't routine. "Sit," he said. I didn't. I stayed standing. Watching. He turned the bottle slowly under the light. Checked the seal. The label. Then he opened it. Poured a few tablets into a small tray. White. Round. Clean. Exactly what they should look like. That didn't mean anything. "Give me 10 minutes," he said. He disappeared into the back. I waited. No pacing. No movement. Just standing there. Counting seconds. Because now it wasn't about suspicion. It was about confirmation. He came back in 7. Didn't sit. Didn't soften it. That's not your medication. I didn't react. What is it? I asked. Calcium channel blockers, he said. Not what you were prescribed. I nodded once. Effect? He looked at me carefully. If you took one during a cardiac episode. He paused. You'd likely lose consciousness within minutes. And then? If no one intervened, you wouldn't wake up. Clean. Quiet. Natural. Exactly how it would look. I exhaled slowly. Not surprise. Recognition. Someone switched them, he said. Yes. You have any idea who? Yes. He didn't ask me to explain. He didn't need to. You need to call the police, he said. I will. But not yet. Not like this. Not without structure. Because now I had 2 pieces. The bottle. The pills. That wasn't coincidence. That was design. 2 methods. 2 timelines. 1 outcome. I walked out of the clinic with a new prescription in my pocket. And a clearer picture in my head. She didn't just plan one way. She planned redundancy. If I drank the bottle, I'd be gone. If I didn't, the medication would finish it. No noise. No suspicion. Just another man with a weak heart. I got into my truck. Sat there for a moment. Engine off. Hands still. Thinking. Because something else didn't fit. Something bigger. People don't risk this much. Unless there's something worth taking. I started the engine. Drove home. The house looked the same. Quiet. Empty. Unchanged. But I didn't walk in like I used to. I checked the door. The lock. The frame. No damage. That didn't mean anything. I stepped inside. Closed the door behind me. And stopped. Something was off. Not visible. Not obvious. But wrong. I walked into the kitchen. Everything in place. The table. The chair. The counter. Exactly as I left it. Too exact. I moved slowly. Room by room. Checking. Not searching for what was missing. Searching for what didn't belong. Then I saw it. My desk drawer. Slightly open. Just a few millimeters. Enough for someone careful. Enough for someone trained. I stepped closer. Opened it fully. Documents inside. Neat. Aligned. But not how I left them. I pulled the top folder. My estate file. Opened it. And felt the shift. One page was different. Same format. Same signature. Same structure. But the content changed. Everything. All assets. All accounts. Transferred. Not split. Not conditional. One name. My daughter. 100%. No mention of anyone else. No mention of timing. Immediate transfer upon death. I closed the folder slowly. Carefully. Because now it was complete. Not just an attempt. A system. Poison. Medication. Documents. All aligned. All pointing to one moment. My death. I sat down. For the first time that day. Not tired. Not weak. Just, still. Because now I understood the truth. She didn't act out of anger. Or emotion. Or impulse. She built this. Step by step. Layer by layer. Like a case. Like a plan. And that meant one thing. She believed it would work. That I would never see it. Never connect it. Never fight back. I leaned back in the chair. Looked at the document in my hands. And allowed myself one quiet thought. She didn't just forget who I was. She underestimated what I do best. Because this was no longer a family situation. This was a case. And I was no longer the target. I was the one building it. I didn't move right away. I let the silence settle. Not in the room. Inside me. Because revenge, when it's done right, doesn't start with action. It starts with control. I placed the phone on the table. Screen down. No distractions. No emotions. Just facts. I replayed the call in my head. Every word. Every pause. Every shift in her voice. People always think it's the words that matter. It's not. It's what slips between them. And she had said everything. Enough for motive. Enough for intent. Enough for destruction. I stood up slowly. Walked to the cabinet. Opened the folder I hadn't touched in years. Old habits. Old systems. Old discipline. Inside. Copies. Records. Contracts. Names. I had built my life on documentation. On patterns. On proof. She thought she created something clean. Something untraceable. She forgot who taught her to think that way. I took out a small recorder. Old model. Reliable. No cloud. No connection. Just storage. I transferred the call. Backed it up twice. Different devices. Different locations. Never trust one copy. That's rule 1. Then I sat down again. Opened my laptop. Not the new one. The old one. Offline. No history tied to it. No accounts. Just tools. I started mapping. Timeline first. When my medication changed. When the insurance policy was updated. When she started visiting less. When the symptoms began. Everything aligned. Too perfectly. That's the problem with calculated people. They believe perfection hides them. It doesn't. It exposes them. Because real life is never that clean. I pulled up the insurance records. Looked at the signatures. Subtle differences. Pressure points. Angles. Not hers. But close enough to pass a basic check. She didn't expect a deeper one. That was her mistake. I made a call. Not to the police. Not yet. To someone better. Victor, I said when he answered. A pause. Then a quiet exhale. I was wondering when you'd call. He always was. Victor didn't ask questions. He never did. He waited. You still do private forensic work? I asked. A short silence. Then. For you. Always. Good. I need handwriting analysis, I said. And toxicology. That got his attention. What kind of toxicology, he asked. The kind that proves intent, I said. No reaction. Just acceptance. I'll send someone, he said. Discreet. I know, I replied. We ended the call. No extra words. No explanations. That's why I trusted him. I moved to the next step. Bank records. Access logs. She had been careful. Used indirect transfers. Layered accounts. But she overlooked something simple. Timing. Money leaves traces. Not where it goes. When it moves. And when I lined it up with everything else. It fit. Perfectly. I printed everything. Not digital. Paper. Real. Tangible. Because screens can be erased. Paper burns. But only if you let it. I don't. I organized it all. Chronologically. Clean. Precise. Like a case file. Because that's what this was now. Not a family problem. Not a misunderstanding. A case. And I knew exactly how to build one. I looked at the folder. Thick already. Heavy. But not complete. Not yet. I needed one more thing. Confirmation. From someone who didn't belong to me. Didn't trust me. Didn't owe me anything. That's how you remove doubt. I picked up the phone again. Different number this time. Hospital. The doctor answered. Professional. Tired. Careful. I need a status update, I said. On the patient admitted last night. A pause. Who is this? He asked. Someone who gave him the bottle, I said. Silence. Then. He's stable, the doctor said. But it's unusual. Of course it was. What did you find? I asked. Another pause. Longer. Measured. We're still running tests, he said. But preliminary results suggest. He stopped. Didn't want to say it. I didn't help him. Let him get there himself. Poisoning, he finished. Quiet. Controlled. Like saying it softer would change it. It doesn't. Send me the report when it's ready, I said. I can't do that, he replied immediately. Legal. Procedural. Expected. I know, I said. And ended the call. Because I didn't need the report from him. Not officially. I sat back. Looked at everything laid out in front of me. Documents. Records. Proof. And one voice. Her voice. Clear. Cold. Admitting everything. She thought this was quiet. Invisible. Contained. She thought I would fade out. Disappear slowly. Without resistance. That was her biggest mistake. Because I don't react loudly. I don't rush. I don't lose control. I build. Step by step. Piece by piece. Until there's nowhere left to run. I closed the folder. Locked it. Set it aside. And for the first time since that call. I allowed myself a single thought. Not about her. Not about what she did. About what comes next. And how carefully. I would take everything from her. Exactly the way she tried to take it from me. I didn't confront her. Not yet. People expect explosions. Arguments. Accusations. That's where they lose control. I don't. I let pressure build. Quietly. Systematically. I started with distance. Stopped answering her calls immediately. Delayed responses. Short replies. Nothing emotional. Nothing to react to. She noticed. Of course she did. People like her need feedback. They need control. And silence. Takes that away. 2 days later, she came over. Didn't knock the way she used to. No hesitation. Just opened the door. Walked in. Like nothing had changed. "Dad," she called. Soft voice. Careful. Testing. I stayed in the kitchen. Didn't move. Didn't answer. Let her come to me. She did. Slow steps. Measured. When she saw me, she smiled. Too quickly. Too perfect. "You didn't answer my calls," she said. Concern in her tone. Practice in her eyes. "I was busy," I replied. Flat. Controlled. She studied me. Looking for cracks. Weakness. Anything. There was nothing to find. "I was worried," she added. I nodded. Didn't thank her. Didn't reassure her. Just watched. That's when the first shift happened. A flicker. Doubt. Small. But real. "Good. Have you been taking your medication?" she asked. Careful again. Always careful. "Yes," I said. A lie. And the truth at the same time. Because I had. Just not the one she thought. She relaxed slightly. Too soon. That was mistake number one. I walked past her. Calm. Unhurried. Picked up a glass of water. Took a sip. Let the silence stretch. People talk when silence becomes uncomfortable. She did. "I spoke to the doctor," she said. "I think we should adjust." "I already did," I interrupted. First interruption. Small. Precise. Her words stopped. Mid-sentence. "Adjust," she repeated. Uncertain now. I turned to her. Looked directly into her eyes. "Everything," I said. "Nothing more. Nothing less." She blinked. Just once. But it was there. That second shift. Fear. Still controlled. Still hidden. But growing. "Good. I don't understand," she said. Of course she didn't. Not yet. "You will," I replied. And walked out of the room. Left her standing there. Alone. With questions. That was step one. Confusion. Step two came later that evening. Victor called. "Results are in," he said. No emotion. Just information. "Talk," I replied. "Low-dose anticoagulants," he said. "Not enough to kill immediately." "Of course not. That would raise suspicion." "Exactly," Victor confirmed. "Prolonged use would cause internal bleeding over time." Slow. Controlled. Quiet. Just like her. "Can you prove it?" I asked. A short pause. "Yes." That was all I needed. "Send everything," I said. "It's already on its way." Of course it was. Victor never wasted time. We ended the call. I didn't smile. Didn't react. Just added it to the file. Another piece. Another wait. Then I made the next move. Insurance. I requested a full audit. Internal. Legal. Routine. But thorough. Flags would appear. They always do. Especially when someone thinks they're invisible. By morning, she called again. More times than before. Messages now. "Are you okay? Please call me. I'm worried." Good. Pressure works best when it's invisible. When they don't know what's happening. Only that something is. She came again the next day. Faster this time. No hesitation at all. "Dad, what's going on? She asked the moment she saw me. No softness now. No performance. Just tension. I sat down slowly. Gestured for her to do the same. She didn't. Stayed standing. Defensive. Ready. I spoke to the insurance company, I said. Calm. Even. Her face didn't change. But her shoulders did. Tightened. Barely. They're reviewing everything, I continued. Silence. Then. That's good, she said. Too fast. Too clean. That's responsible. I nodded. Watched her. Let it sink in. They asked about the recent changes, I added. And there it was. The third shift. Panic. Not visible to anyone else. But I saw it. Clear as day. What changes? She asked. Careful again. Trying to recover. I leaned back slightly. Relaxed. They'll contact you, I said. And stood up. Ended the conversation. Just like that. No accusations. No explanations. Nothing she could fight. That's the key. Never give them something to push against. Only space. And uncertainty. By the time she left. Her steps weren't steady anymore. She didn't slam the door. Didn't say goodbye. Just walked out. Quiet. Like she was already losing something. She was. Control. And once that's gone, everything else follows. I looked at the folder again. Opened it. Flipped through the pages. Each one heavier than the last. Each one closer to the end. But not yet. Not until she understood. Not until she felt it. The same way I did. Slow. Unavoidable. Closing in. Because revenge isn't about a single moment. It's about pressure. And I had just started applying it. She didn't come the next day. Or the day after. Silence. The kind that means something is breaking. On the third day, she called. Voice different. No control left. Dad, we need to talk. Not, can we? Need. Good. I agreed. 1 hour later, she was sitting across from me. No smile. No mask. Just tension. And fear. I got a call, she said. Insurance. Of course. They're asking questions, she continued. I nodded. Waited. They think something is wrong, she said quietly. I leaned forward slightly. Something is wrong, I replied. Silence. Heavy. Then. What did you do? She asked. There it was. Not denial. Not confusion. Fear. I opened the folder. Placed it on the table. Slowly. Didn't rush. She looked at it. Didn't touch it. Everything you did, I said, calm, is here. Her breathing changed. Faster. Unstable. I don't know what you're talking about. Poison, I said. One word. Sharp. Final. She froze. Completely. No movement. No sound. Just eyes. Wide. Then. You were supposed to, she started. Stopped. Too late. I closed the folder. Quietly. You planned it carefully, I said. No noise. No trace. Just time. Her hands trembled now. Small. Uncontrollable. But you forgot something, I continued. You didn't build me. Silence. Crushing. They have everything, I said. Forensics. Records. Calls. I stood up. She didn't. Couldn't. They'll contact you soon, I added. And walked to the door. Opened it. Didn't look back. Dad, she whispered. Not power. Not control. Just a word. Empty. I paused. For a second. Then. You chose this, I said. And left. I didn't watch what happened next. Didn't need to. Because this was never about anger. Or shouting. Or revenge in the way people imagine. It was about truth. And consequences. Quiet. Precise. Unavoidable. Thank you for listening. Calm justice doesn't shout. It keeps records.